yeah, like my thing was when I was doing something called an enlightened intensive workshop, and what you did is you sat across from each other, and we did this for 3 days, but you can do it up to 3 weeks. And what you do is you don't speak to each other unless you're sitting across from one another, and a person looks at you and they just say to you, "Tell me who you are," and then you just start coming up, with whatever comes to you, right?
Uh-huh.
And when that happened, I think it was the third day or the second day, I can't remember what, but I started to this girl that I was watching when I was telling her who I was. Her shadow, she had like this shadow that split, and it was really weird. I was like trying to figure out what it was, but there was this shadow and I started to see like different levels of who she was. And then this other guy, his face changed like 8 times, and I saw these ancestors inside of him, or maybe personalities. I wasn't quite sure what it was, right? And then another guy, he asked me, I asked him, right, "Tell me who you are." And he was like, "I see Buddha in you." And I was like, "Oh, and you can't respond, right?" And during these 3 days, we don't speak to each other, okay? We're just in our own selves. And so when I was eating, I was like, just really just eating the food, just focusing on it, nourishing my body, which is what we should be doing anyways. So it was a good practice for that. Anyways, so that happened, and then when he finished, it was my turn, and he asked me, "Tell me who you are." And I closed my eyes, and the first thing I saw was Buddha, and then I saw a Taurus, like a bull, right? Like a bull. And when I finished, he was like, "Oh my God, I'm a Taurus." And we were starting to see things. And then another thing happened where I was again with this woman where her like shadow or whatever I was seeing was splitting in half in front of her. And then I saw these octagonal, or no, is it octagonal? I'm sorry, please correct me on this. The honeycomb shape. What is that? Hexagonal?
Hexagon.
Okay. Yeah, hexagon. Yes, hexagonal. So I saw a hexagonal wormhole or something, right? It was a tube, and it was like a bright blue, kind of like that flame blue that you would see with white. And I was going through it. I was in it. And so it might have been the Taurus, actually. It could have been in the middle of a Taurus field, because that's really what it is. Yeah? In a way.
That's kind of what Apollo was mentioning when he was having the experience in his journey when he was getting off the Iron Moon or whatever, and they got the escape ship and they left and they were out in space and they were about to die and blah, blah, blah. But then they got halfway abducted by like the same kind of light. It was like this hexagonal shape that was blue.
But this was like a hexagonal shape in a Taurus field, and they were all over the place. Yeah, it was all structured around me, and it was a tube like a honeycomb. But those were the shapes all around it that were in this tube of like wherever. whether it be a torus field or energy, I was being my consciousness, or not consciousness, but my unconsciousness was, my subconscious was connecting to this unconscious, correct? The Akashic records or something. I don't know what it is. Does that kind of make sense? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like a torus field filled with the hexagonal shapes, several of them, connecting it.
So that, it's interesting that you say the hexagonal shape, because then when you say that, I automatically think of Saturn, and that big storm on Saturn that's literally like bigger than the Great Red Spot in Jupiter, and it's literally like a perfect hexagon in the planet, which is pretty phenomenal that it like is able to actually corrugate to those edges. Like it literally is a hexagon on a sphere.
That's awesome.
Like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
That's freaking badass.
It's crazy. I mean, no wonder that
it's geometry. It's all over. All it is fractals, and they just keep on repeating themselves, and so it's recreating itself over and over and over again and recycling.
Yeah, and we can literally witness that, and we are witnessing that, and it's pretty intense. And so, I mean, we see that as above, so below, and in every shape of form, whether it's planetary or in an experience, in like, a hallucinatory experience, or even in like a honeycomb in a bee, or like down on the molecular level. Like it's a universal factor that is kind of taken for granted, because everything seems like the way it is and we don't think twice about it. But truly, there is like a mathematical formula, a divine mathematical formula that shapes not only our physical reality, but also our mental reality, and the patterns that shape nature and the patterns that shape consciousness.
It's all one and the same. That's all it is.
And it's experiencing itself.
Yes, it's totally experiencing itself. Oops.
But it's crazy because, here on Earth, we have all this duality shit. Oh, fucking positive, negative. These guys are bad and evil. These guys are our heroes. These guys are the saviors. But like in the end, we're all enemies. We're all allies of each other, because we're the same consciousness experiencing the experience of existing.
What did I just do? Go ahead. I like redid. I just deleted. Anyways, yeah, no, it's and they've proven it, and I wonder if we're ready to change it. I know my existence is not there, and from what this guy is saying, and I told you these stories before I actually found this, correct? I believe so. About being from Orion. That I was from Orion somewhere. I didn't know where, because I was being blocked. Remember, I've talked about being blocked.
Yes. Well, something I found that was really interesting about Apollo's segment was that he was mentioning that Orion, from our perspective, like we just think of Orion as like we look in the sky and we're like, there's Orion and Orion's belt and stuff, and it looks like it's a 2D picture, like a painting. But in reality, he was like, two of the stars are pretty close to us, but one of them is like 400 light years away, and the others are less than 100 light years away, which means that we're closer to two of the stars in Orion than the middle one, which is further away from all three of us. Right. So in theory, in the Orion constellation, we're just as much a part of it as what we view from Earth. Like, and so that kind of blew my mind a little bit, because I was like, holy shit. Just because you know that you're from Orion doesn't mean that you were necessarily out from some like celestial place. You might have been from here and you're still from Orion. I mean, it's context. And that kind of blew my mind, but it's true. And I mean, when we're talking about spatial relativity in space, that's completely true, which I guess I hadn't thought about it like that before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, getting back to what you were saying about being in Orion, I mean, I think from what you've told me, the part that I find to be interesting, which again was kind of touched on at the end of um, the segment, was that the in between and comprehending the different dimensionality and what that really means, you know, between like physicality and non-physicality, and you know, in the in between, what does that truly mean? And like, if you had a life, like I know you said you've had a life, or even something in between where you were tortured and it was unbearable and just awful and just not what needed to happen, but it was happening. Maybe that was a life, possibly, but not in our common context of third dimension with a body and stuff. So
I'm having to re-edit this. I apologize. I totally deleted it. So I'm having to go back and so just continue, please. I'm listening, but I'm trying to. I got to write this out real quick.
Yeah, I was just referring to you know, kind of your past life experience, or
Yeah.
in-between life experience that you had mentioned to me before, and possibly connecting that to being something other than just an in-between, or maybe that in-between was in a physicality or non-physicality that was maybe a little bit beyond what we're familiar with, but still possibly a life.
I can't really say because I don't know. It's of it's like multiple people that have been affected by this, and I can't really. I think that we all have been. I don't know. We've been through something really devastating. I don't know what level it is. I don't think that humans are the only thing out there. I mean, because if dragons, if we have an imagination of dragons, there's probably dragons, right?
Well, I think that's like, as powerful as they are, I still think that's just kind of a small portion of the whole picture. Like, there's clearly, like, the whole universe as a whole is definitely trying to experience itself. And so the dragons are trying to, you know, fulfill their end. The humans are trying to fulfill their end, and all the other species are fulfilling their end. But like, everything playing out is the universe as a whole experiencing itself. And that is kind of what we're looking at as a whole, as a big ass whole, from, you know, all the karma, all the everything, all the pain, all the suffering, all the love, all of the joy and triumph, like everything, like it all ties in together because the universe is trying to experience itself. And so when we get to be a part of that, sometimes we're, you know, the ones that are the creators, and sometimes we're the ones that are, you know, the suffering or the karmic experience, and sometimes we're not even on a physical level. You know, sometimes we're beyond that.
Yeah. I mean, we are, and that's what's confusing. Is it's interesting that we're having to experience it because even though it already knows itself, it should. Honestly,
but it doesn't. It doesn't.
I know, but it does. It's both.
It's trying to understand itself, and that's why there's experience, because it knows itself as much as it knows itself, but there's still parts that don't know itself, and so that's why we get these experiences.
Yeah. Did I just do that? Did it work? Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. I was totally having to redo this. Anyways,
What was that for?
I deleted what you put.
Oh.
I didn't mean to. I don't know how it happened. I was like, oh. So I had to re-edit it because I went in and I started looking and it changed everything. And I was like, oh, no, fuck. Okay, I need to go back. I don't know if it changed it all again. Fuck, it might have changed it. Damn it. How did they do that? Okay. That's so frustrating. Anyways, oh, hey, how's it going? Welcome. Oh, wait, no, that's somewhere else. I was looking.
I
think I
somebody
just...
tuned in for a minute and then they tuned back out.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what's the deal. They're all fucking... Oh, I gotta delete them all now.
What are you talking about?
Wait a minute, where the hell am I? Okay, so this is that. I don't know.
What are you trying to do?
Well, I went in, I shared it, and I deleted the information, and now everything is... I don't know. It doesn't explain it. So either I have to copy and paste and put all this stuff to get back together. Otherwise, there's no description. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Let me see.
I deleted it, and now every single place I shared it to doesn't have a description.
I still see it.
Yeah, because I put it in there, but it's not on all the other channels. Get my drift?
Yeah, I guess I can't see it from the other channel.
You can't see it, but it's happening.
Oh.
Okay. Because you're not in the channels that I have, and you're not.
All it says is Poppy's Field, Project Globe, or Sears.
It just has the Telegram shit. It has nothing about nothing. I'm gonna just fucking send it again to some of these people. I'm gonna get a hold of Rebecca, see if she's available. She might be asleep. Let me just call her. Hey, are you busy? Okay, get on Telegram and come to Poppy's Field Project. We're doing a thing with Matthew and I are talking. When we want to talk to you. Okay, I'll see you on there in a second. I already invited you to a link, okay? Okay, bye. Yay, Rebecca's coming!
Very nice.
She's always a good one to call, like, and she'll like hang out with us. I wonder if there's anybody else. Like, I should get Kristen online. I wonder if she's available. I call Kristen too.
I invited Unicorn. So maybe she'll show up. We'll see.
I don't know if Kristen will even answer. It's like 8 o'clock.
It's weird how for some people it goes out early.
Oh, nope, she went to voicemail.
Well, shit.
Well, she's on. Just waiting.
That's okay.
I hope that she's not having issues, because remember people were having issues last time. Here, let me just go do this way. I'm going to do it straight up again this way. Send. It says last seen recently. She's gone already. Where'd she go? Anyways. Oops. I just sent it to her. No, here, let me call her back. I don't want her to watch the video.
Yeah, that's 3 hours.
AI builder. Well, no. Go back to it. Go back on. Go on Telegram. No, we're actually having a live discussion right now. And I said, click on. I just sent it again to you. It says live stream. Okay. Okay. Bye. And there she. Okay, she's back. Hi.
Hello.
There she is. Hi. Here. Whoa. Let me get you off of that. How'd that happen? Sorry about that. Go ahead. Okay, you can unmute yourself. Hi. We can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself if you want to speak. Anyways.
I said hi. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
We can hear you now.
I got headphones on.
All right. I don't.
Here, I'm going to get crinkly.
Welcome into the chat. We're tiptoeing around the ideas of the secrets of the universe. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. So we watched
I
this.
want to get this
We
louder.
have to watch it. What's that?
I need to get you guys louder. So I have you guys cranked all the way up. Wait,
Okay,
now
so
stop.
look at the phone or whatever you're on, and if you click on our pictures, it'll pop up like a mute or have a volume adjustment, so you can turn us up
Oh, I see.
or down, whatever you prefer.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so you have to do it individually for each person, and it's different.
Oh, okay. Okay, I did it. Nova, I got you at 171. Matthew, I got you at 100. I need to talk. Say something. Matthew, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
You're 183. How about say something now?
Hello. Test. 1 2 1 2.
I got you at 200.
Jesus. That's freaking loud.
You're too quiet, Matthew. Speak up.
Right here. Hello. Am I quiet on your
end?
end
Put the
too?
headphones back in. It's not doing it. I'm gonna try not to. When I tend to paste in my kitchen, like I don't know, maybe there's
Yeah,
a
you do.
tiger in my
Probably.
incarnation field, but I paste, and I just want to put these headphones.
Well,
back
because
in.
your mind is going a million miles per hour, and you see things, so it's just an energy coming through you. You know, it's like constant for you almost. It's like for me, I have it under control because I didn't want to always see things. I mean, I see things differently now.
Hold on, I gotta try something.
Logical, illogical way. So we were talking about this guy, this video you're gonna have to watch when we maybe get off the phone or whenever tomorrow or whatever. It's really interesting. I need to watch it again because it's really long, but it's really interesting. And it's about Apollo, and he meets all these people that have recalls of each other and situations on a planet. I think it's like, it's not Chehalis or something, but I can't remember exactly the name of it, but something like that, where they have they were attacked by these reptiles, a reptile race, and there's a group of them that all claim this supposedly. So I would like to research it a little more, and actually try to find who these people are and actually interview them and talk to them. because I think it's really fascinating. I want to know if it's true, because
Okay,
Matthew has also, hold on for just a second, I'm almost done.
subconscious
Hold
pulling it
on.
back memory.
Wait. Matthew has also had recall of it. So, okay, I'm finished. I'll sit down and mute.
I'm sorry, I lost you guys there. There was kind of a hiccup in the audio.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, so what if the subconscious is pulling that up out of wherever? And I sometimes wonder if it's not being pulled out of a cloud to heal it, like kind of an avatar-ish type of thing. Just a wonder. Here's the thing. Okay, with genetics, with the human body, since we kind of really don't know the genetics of the human, I was told by Alex Collier in his seminars, I don't know if you've ever watched him, that by the Andromedan perspective and their view, that is the human person, the human being has 22 different galactic contributions that were contributed ages and ages ago. So then the spirit works through the DNA as kind of like a navigator type of thing to turn on and off whatever is more dominant in the DNA. This is just a I don't even have a word for it. This is just amusing, okay? Amusing of mine. But I do know that the reptilian base for the human being is first. And then the mammalian traits are grown on top of that. And you can see this in utero. Like everybody starts out kind of like, well, we all start out as an asshole and then we grow around that. We grow around that. But if there's a lot of things I think that we are hidden from. But also another person that is really interesting to listen to is Stuart Swerdlow. And he was in with the Montauk Project. And he has a book called True Blood, Blue Blood, the history of conflict in history, something like that book. You could read that on PDF file. And it gives a kind of a rough type of history of the Earth. But there's so many perspectives of what the history of Earth is. It might just be, whatever you think it is. If you want to believe that it was created in a week, you can believe that. A Genesis. That might be a
Timelines.
story of consciousness.
There's different timelines happening all spontaneously, so it's all existing.
Well, what do you think about the 22 types of hybrid or type of DNA put in humans? I've heard that too. That human beings on Earth were essentially at the beginning, we were slaves to the Anu to mine for gold, but over time, there were more genetic
Upgrades.
Upgrades that you could say, and eventually, when Earth became sovereign for the first time, humans were kind of given those 22 genetic traits by like the Galactic Federation or like one of the guardians of the planet or whatever angel, whatever it is, and then we've been working off that ever since. And to tie it into like the documentary that we were listening to, what that allowed, having that many different type of genetics, was to allow different types of beings to incarnate into these kind of bodies. So like,
It's kind of, think of it as kind of like a car, like a model, and to see which one functions best is basically kind of what I'm thinking.
yeah, and like this is like the universal car model, where it's like you don't have to be super knowledgeable, you just have to have the keys, and if you have the keys, then you can drive this model.
Right. And there has been some sabotage that has happened over the years. And even if you date somebody who is just wanting to manipulate you or whatever and being like, has you tried drugs and stuff, you can mess up your vehicle and then have a hell of a time trying to get trying to get it to run right again. That's something that happens. That happens.
Oh yeah, it could get totaled. I mean, you could put the wrong key in there, and like all of a sudden, like it's a different car. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah. Trying to get ourselves to run right. And then on top of that, we got processed foods, and who knows what that does. What's in the water, stuff like that. So I think about that. I think about how consciousness and it's a metaphysical relationship, how the consciousness runs and works through the body. And if you don't feel good, your body doesn't feel good, that's going to affect everything. So it would probably be, health would be like the number one thing. That's why it flips me out when they have these protocols for the babies to get all these vaccinations that they don't need. That makes me really upset.
Did you get the vaccines for them?
No, not the COVID one. And like, I don't think a child needs a Hep C or a Hep B vaccination. My kids got it because I didn't know at the time what it was. I just did what they suggested, thinking that I was doing well. But there is a vaxxed.com website that I used to go on because I know of the damages that vaccines can do. So I would go on this vaxxed.com and I would listen to all of these parents and nurses, some were doctors even, and they were telling their firsthand accounts of what happened in front of their eyes to their child that they took to the doctor and listened to them, and they got all these vaccinations, take their kid home, and all of a sudden the kid isn't acting right. Either medical types of like fevers and physical anomalies like that, or mental disconnection, like banging their head on the wall and like basically creating an autistic type of thing. There was 136,000 or even more than that videos of firsthand accounts of what vaccines did to their children, and they took the whole website down. You can't find those videos anymore. They were tough to watch. It was heartbreaking, but they just acted like they just didn't exist. Somebody bought the search engine. Somebody took that website down, and that was going to be like just hush hush. That didn't happen. Shh, hush hush. That pissed me off.
Wow.
So it's like watching the parents just walk off the cliff with their kids, like, poop, here you go.
That's just ridiculous. I hadn't seen any of that. Like, I didn't know. I mean, I definitely seen a lot of people and doctors speak up and talk and stuff, but I hadn't seen ones where people were like banging their head against the wall or whatever.
I'm just saying, like, that was my example of autism.
Yeah. It's intense, though. I mean, of course, whenever the truth comes out, it gets censored pretty quick.
Real quick. And then again, then I think, okay, why did they do that? And then I started going along the lines of, well, we create and we manifest our reality. Okay, well, if that be so, the medical community is creating a reality for some people that they didn't choose. What parent would choose to physically harm their child's immune system? None of them. So then I was thinking, well, why would they force this? Then I start getting into exotic tech of like biofrequencies and stuff like that, trying to find a reason as to why. And then I kind of just rear back into like, they took it down because they didn't want sued.
Yeah, and of course they're going to protect their own assets. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Aliyu. I'm welcoming Aliyu. If I'm saying that incorrectly, please correct me. You're welcome to speak or just listen, whatever you'd like to do. Thank you for stopping in.
Welcome in to the podcast here.
Did somebody join in?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm trying to go back to the field screen. Oh,
yes.
Hi.
So yeah, it's very interesting to go back to what we're kind of coming into, like having these experiences and wanting to find other people that have these experiences and or just want to know truth, right? Because I know Matthew, you can agree that you also feel truth in your experience from recall. My one thing that I was going to say that I did see during that enlightenment intensive workshop was there was a flash of this, that copper green color that some of the ancient, like kind of Victorian colors with gold, actually more like gold and copper, or like with a green on it. You know what I'm talking about? No, it's just a color that was used a lot for the Baroque type stuff, or frames or furniture or anyways. So my thing was I saw the edge of a bed that was like and it was a huge ass room, like there was so much space, and all I could see was this bed really, and it was just a flash of it, and it had like some drapes, but it was all gold and this green color. And
you have friends in their background?
No, I don't think so. Anyways, and then and then I saw it was like the halls, the great halls, like of a mentee, not necessarily a mentee, but like Moria from Lord of the Rings. I mean, but it was kind of underground, but I don't know. But they were tall. They were massive, like halls, and it had all this marble everywhere. And there was a little girl running in front of me with blonde curly hair.
Yeah.
Oh.
And my therapist was like, well, maybe that was your future. Maybe it's not necessarily the past. I know, that was an interesting thought.
Well, that kind of ties into like, okay, I'm going to say quote unquote past lives. Because like in some of the quote unquote past lives I've had, in perspective of our current timeline, they would be in the future, even though from our timeline I've experienced them in the past, even though they were in the future. And so that could also take place too. That could also be a part of it as well. Pretty fascinating, though, to have that vision so clearly.
Yeah, it was very clear. And I was there. And then this was all on totally being sober, but doing this 3-day deal, right? And I started, and I talked to the woman that was conducting this. I was like, dude, I'm seeing shit. And then I had this vision. I had my eyes closed, and I saw this copper cup, and it had like an arrow or like a gunshot. And when I saw it, it struck like right below my collarbone on my right side on my chest. And I saw this copper cup, and then it just, and I was like, wow, that was something that happened. And then my girlfriend, she asked the scientist about what copper meant, and it has something to do with like lineage and shit like that, or something like that, or
Well, that goes back to the Blue Blood Blueprint. There was actual copper that was in the blood.
it's what? Would you call it?
There was a more amount of copper that was in the blood because that galactic genetic contribution had evolved on another planet around another star.
Where's this? What's going on? I don't know anything about this.
So the genetic makeup contribution of evolution. So we are like evolution and upgrades both. We're like hybrids. So, but that contribution gave a tint to the blood to be a different color. And what Alex Collier says is pretty fascinating too. He says that we used to be different shades and colors. Now I have a hard time picturing that.
The ancient Vedics, that's all you need to see are those paintings. That's what they are. We used to be black. We used to be fucking blue. And we were fucking taller than shit. We were huge, and we were wonky. We didn't know we had to do. That's where yoga came from, was so that way we could learn how to fucking walk and blah 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 and function. And we weren't very intelligent.
All those arms had to have been a mom.
We were more feeling and like being, and you know, because it was very.
I don't want more arms.
Gosh, like a big baby, right? That's maybe where Big Baby comes from.
Big sumo baby? What?
No, big Hyperborean baby.
A big Hyperborean baby.
Yes. You know, being all wonky and like sloppy and just you know, who knows what it was like? I mean, we have no idea. Maybe that's where Big Baby comes from.
Like a pre-Atlantean type of baby?
Yeah, that's before Lemuria.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just, you know, maybe it came from something else. But I mean, there's all these stories and like symbols, you know, all these parables and, you know, rhymes that we repeat, right? Or it's interesting just to think about. Just a thought.
So what if you were like in your vision, were you like the mom and you were like having to chase after this blonde
I have no
girl?
idea. It wasn't even like that.
Oh.
I was just seeing this child running. I wasn't like, that's my daughter. I thought it was like, well, it could be. Or maybe it was me. I don't know. That's the thing. It could have been me. It could have been whatever. I don't know what it was. I was just like, huh. I didn't want to name it. I'm going to allow it to be what it is.
Okay, I get what you mean.
Yeah, because
fancy palace running through it. Okay, I like.
Yeah,
that.
Like not even the palace. I mean, it kind of was, but it was definitely the same place. These two visions that I saw, it was in the same vicinity. Well, I believe. I could be wrong.
Okay, like if I had to say and give my contribution as to like anything that I was picturing lately, I was seeing and picturing this crystal place that was built underground that had all these crystals and all this neat growing technology. And there was all these plants, lots of plants and waters and really neat buildings.
Oh, yeah. I could see that could be a way of like how to grow food.
Yes, like the plants were intelligently infused by these crystals that were all in it. It was pretty neat agriculture.
Totally makes sense.
I liked it a lot.
That's interesting. Yeah. It reminds funny enough, it reminds me of an ad that I saw on Facebook that was proposing an EMF pad or something that you put on your Wi-Fi router, and it changes the Wi-Fi signals so that your plants can grow in better harmony. And it has like a picture of like a plant that's growing next to a Wi-Fi router, and then it has a picture of a plant growing next to the Wi-Fi router with the harmonizer on it.
Wow, that's really neat. I like
Yeah,
that biofrequency tool that they put on the plants, and the plants make the music. I love that.
I've heard of that, but well, no, I've seen it, but I haven't heard it like in person. Like I haven't heard what it sounds like, but
Not in
that
person, me neither. I just saw videos.
even as a video though, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I went and applied to the LA School of Film, the LA Film School, and I'm working on getting the grant part for it. For some reason, they're not accepting my name. I don't know. Maybe it's my email that needs to be adjusted, or I need more memory on my email or something. But I'm really excited because it costs $40,000, but they send you the audio equipment that you can make and create your own music. And I'm like so excited about this. That's what I want to do. I want to create music. So I always think of music all the time. I mix music in my head and everything, but I can't get it out because I don't have the technology to do that. So I'm psyched about that. I'm excited about
You
that.
can do that with like way less than $40,000 for sure. I mean, shoot, you can do that with a laptop. It's just the knowledge of it.
That's kind of like the other avenue I kind of was thinking. I'm like, $40,000. That was a whole lot of money to go into debt. So I was thinking like maybe I could do it for a lot less and just do it without going to school. You're exactly what I was thinking. I appreciated the inspirative, that's the right word, inspirative thought, and like that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Because I'm kind of in a standstill. I'm like a retired grandma. I already did the dancing thing. I'm not doing that anymore. And I'm just at home in my kitchen, really, really bored. I want to do something that makes me feel alive again. Making music out of some plant.
Let's redirect ourselves. That's what has to be is to contain the supreme beings that we truly are, and that we've forgotten who we are, and actually, get out of the situations that are harming us and go into better ones, and
Right.
and ones that are calling us, and make those decisions, and step out and be in that position of that, and that means that sometimes your whole life changes, and you will never return to that point because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be advancing. And if people aren't growing with you, then, it keeps you in a space sometimes that isn't necessarily right for you. And this is just experience, right, from many lifetimes we've done. And if we haven't figured it out by now, that sometimes we have to change our perspective and just trust, because we forgot that we're actual magicians, shamans, witches, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I just put up a picture on, and I'm going to save it because I want to show it to you. I found it today when I was on my my trip to the ocean. And so it's really important. We need to remember who we are, because our ancestors are calling us, and they're trying to tell us, what are you doing here still? Why are you holding on? What is it that keeps you? And, is there another way to do this? So how can we wake you up? And what I'm going to do is just keep on working at it for myself, and I know that it's hard to hear, and we, a lot of us don't like to hear these things, but there are things that are going on that are messed up, you know, and we have to make decisions where we stand regardless, and just realize we are being stuck and trapped. And
I'm telling you, I'm not stuck.
in that frustration you're feeling, there is reasons to that, and that's what Apollo is talking about, is that we're possibly dragons, some of us, not necessarily all of us, but you know, we are having an experience, and I just shared this beautiful picture I took today. If you can zoom in on it and look at what it says, I can read it to you, but that there's a possible. He had a vision where he was taken to a wall and a screen came up, and he watched what happened and what started all this enslavement. And he says that it was dragons, and they were perfect and they were powerful, and they would, when they died, they would be recreated back into the same lineage over and over and over again, and they were so perfect and powerful. And what happened is, I believe, Matthew, correct me if it's not humans, but I believe humans stole it or something. I think that's what I heard, but I can't remember.
No,
but I think that's what he said.
Reptilians, there's reptilian in every human. Nobody stole anything.
Yeah, can you let me finish for just a second? Let me finish what he said, just because it ties into some things. Okay. Was it humans, Matthew?
According to what he was saying, it was actually before human beings, and it was actually the Arcturians. Their humanoid form, and what he had said
humanoid
was
form.
The Arcturians, they were geneticists, and so the reason, basically, to give context to the reptilians and give context to the Arcturians, the Arcturians were curious about these dragons from Andromeda, and the Arcturians were taken and stolen some of the DNA from these dragons in Andromeda. And when the dragon DNA was stolen, the Arcturians were doing experiments creating beings with this dragon DNA. The dragons in Andromeda, when they would die, they would incarnate into this experimental DNA here in the Milky Way galaxy. So these dragons were coming over from their homeland, and so instead of incarnating where they wanted to, they were incarnating here as kind of an experiment in a lesser form, because it was kind of an experiment. And so what happened over millennia is that the dragons had gotten very upset that the DNA was stolen, so they wanted to take vengeance, and so they sent their lineages here through death, so they would die, and then they would incarnate here as dragons or other reptilian beings that were being created, and they basically would wage war from that. And so it was almost like, and so that's what he was saying he
said that some of the dragons, they were so pissed off, they died immediately. They killed themselves right then and there to go and after who took over and took their DNA. And so now they're in this loop. And this is what Enrique was teaching me in Nagual in Mexico City, that these ancient seers are stuck in a fucking loop. And they're just repeating. They think that they've forgotten who they are. And there's people out in this world today that think that they're human, but they're actually dragons. And it keeps on recycling. And they forgot to go back home and deal with it.
That's why the reptilians have become what they have, because over time...
They are the reptilians. Are they not?
Well, kind of, because they originally were dragons, but like again, since it was
Yes.
genetic experiments, they kind of got muddled in, and it turned more into combinations over time. So you have part dragon, but you also have a lot of other factors involved. And so over the time periods, we're talking millions of years here.
Okay.
What was
Probably
dragon,
longer than that.
yeah, or I don't know,
What?
more than a million years, more than a million years, a long time.
Yeah.
They've basically forgotten what the mission is, and their drive initially was this superiority and willingness
Yeah, we're
to
stuck
fight.
in their loop. If we don't get out, we're in the wheel as a cog. And if we keep on reenacting their karma, we get stuck in it and we can't get out. And this is why we got to also remember who we are, because maybe we are even the dragons. We don't know. We might know. We might have a feeling we're one of them. But, this is where I was like, since I was a kid, I was looking up at Orion, and I've been blocked to know the truth.
I'm
I haven't
really.
seen shit. I've seen a little bit, but there's something that I had to deal with first before I even got to this point. I think because I was so blinded, and now I'm like, wow, all this information's coming in at once, and I feel really overwhelmed because there's too much at once. Am I not wrong, Matthew?
That's why I was very guarded about all of the like, hey, let's wake up, because I woke up and mine was really difficult. Like I
Yeah.
lost it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you came out of it, girl. You were lucky.
I had help.
My mom did not. And she maybe she will, maybe she won't. I don't know.
I don't want anybody like I actually even got notion that I was stolen. That came through, and I'm not saying that I'm a dragon, but there's definitely some type of galactic something going on, because I don't know who stole me,
like
but
Star Wars.
I
You
wouldn't
didn't
have
hear it.
chosen all that I'd gone through. I didn't want to choose that.
So it's interesting to think about that, because that's actually one of the things that, some of the gurus or whatever, or, metaphysical practitioners, they do say that you choose. And if we are dragons, we actually did choose this, but then we got stuck in it and we forgot who we are.
Well, I
And
really don't want to be a dragon. I think that would be cool and stuff, and I'd ride on a dragon maybe and stuff, but I like being a person. I like being a human. I don't want to be like misunderstood and attacked because they think I'm some kind of a reptilian, though, because I don't know the level of information that other people have, So like there in my spiritual groups, there's some people that are like so attackful. They want to attack this race and that race. They blame everything on one race and stuff. And I'm like, that's not the way. It's frustrating. So I just kind of like gear back. I shift back, and I don't want to be in all that.
yeah, why would you?
Right?
Like you got people to hang out with. There's actually a lot of cool people actually in these areas, in these spaces, on Telegram. I'm surprised you haven't come over to the dark side. No, I'm kidding. To the light. Anyways, that's the thing, is that's what it's all about. It comes back to these Star Wars, and that George Lucas, he was, he's an Orion spirit, and that's what he created, was, what was actually happening a long ass time ago. And somehow some of us have been here for longer. Some of us, like myself, just arrived. Betelgeuse is getting ready to, looks like supernova. I mean, it's fading. So what I believe is happening is that part of existence, a timeline, is going to be finished pretty soon. And that means that we'll be advancing over here, That's what my feeling is. I don't know why, but that's what
Well,
I
I
always
like to think that there is a grand plan in a graceful way for each and everybody here. I don't understand it, but I like to put faith and trust in that there is a grand, beautiful plan that kind of like a path for people, because there's been so much guarding that people don't even know who they are.
So were you able to read that, what I put? We
What?
call upon all of those who have lived on this earth, our ancestors and our friends, who dreamed the best for future generations, and upon whose lives are built. And with thanksgiving, we call upon them.
That's nice. No, I like
Yeah, no, there was a few of them. It was a whole steps. But that's what's happening. You know, we need to have them. We need to see them, right? Like, know that they're there. We have to recognize that they are part of us and that we need to go home. That yes, we like being a human, but this isn't it.
We gotta forgive.
Well, this is my home. My awakening was like a 4.9 billion year thing, and it was like freaking hard. But then it went and it zinged forward. It like zinged through all that years. What?
A serious echo going on right now. But I think that like we kind of tying back to the 22 DNA strands and stuff, like we have Earth is a mixed bag. We have people that are earthbound, people that have been on Earth, they're Earth spirits, they originate from Earth, and this is the home, the one and only. And then there's spirits that have come from other dimensions and that have this is the first time they've ever even been incarnate in a body. Earth is a place of all kinds of different entities and spirits and humans and animals and insects and critters and entities and buildings and AI and like all, like Earth has it all. And so I mean that's kind of
Yeah.
what we learn how to coexist, because like in the past, there's been all these like Star Wars whatever against these different factions and different things, but Earth is a testing ground to prove like this is how we can live together. This is how we can do it if we try. But we have to do it. We have to put in the effort to do it, and we have to accept each other's differences and look at each other as eye to eye, even if one person's from the Andromeda galaxy and they're dragon, or the other one is it's their first time incarnate in a body and they're a
Right.
fly.
Oh,
And
well, I hope that people don't have to be flies, but yeah.
I mean, maybe we all started out as a fly. Who knows? Like,
Man, I don't want to do that, but okay.
maybe we already did. Maybe we had the experience as a fly, and now we're humans. Or
I don't know. That makes me think of something that a friend who he has exotic podcasts, and he talks about insectoids, and I don't know quite what to think about that.
What does
But
he say?
I don't know. Have you ever heard of Ivan Teller? He
Sounds familiar.
he has I started listening to him, and he was saying some interesting things. I don't agree with everything that he says, but he says some pretty interesting things. It's a little out there, but
What does he
like
say?
he has real exotic different titles on all of his videos and stuff, and you could look him up on YouTube and stuff. Some of the things I don't think are safe to talk about, like the time travel thing, I don't think that's safe. I think that would cause a lot of confusion, because I kind of like to think of people born in and they're like going in a forward motion. Now, all that jumping back and forth would be confusing, if just in my opinion. But nothing comes to mind for the insectoid thing. I just remember him mentioning it. So if you want to go and check that out, you're more than welcome to. He's on YouTube. You just type him in. I
Well,
don't
that's
know what
interesting.
what's that?
I said that's interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty fascinated by the time travel thing, and I'm also still just trying to get my head wrapped in around it because it's pretty confusing. I do think it's possible, but I think that it's really hard for our brains to really understand what it means,
Right.
like what's going on, because like I think it means that there's like a zillion timelines, and when you have a zillion timelines, it just kind of makes your brain explode. And
Yeah, so I just think of here's how I think of it. I think of everybody in their physical form that is their lineage from behind. That was their timeline. That was here. And there might be a culmination of a few different timelines because there was a crop circle that showed that there were 5 that were created and now those are going into one. So maybe that would be the explanation as to why there was like kind of a chaotic kind of feeling, because that would be that merging, on a one good main timeline. Well, everybody's always on one, but I was just trying to figure out what the heck is going on. That's all. That's all. But okay, here's what happened. I was interested in it. I was typing stuff in on the phone, and I was watching some of those videos to where like they had those sweatshirts where the sweatshirt would glow blue, and I was thinking about high-tech clothing, and I was just typing stuff in, and then there was like, oh, they must be time traveling. They looked like they were rescuing people. Okay, like you've seen the videos, right? Where the lady's crossing the street with the baby, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and helps them across so they're not run over by a car. Did you see
Mhm.
that?
and they appear out of nowhere.
Kind of. I think. Well, I don't remember that part where they were appeared. I just remember that there was like a rescue in it, and they like were super fast, and I was like, whoa, what is that? So I was typing, and then there was there was some kind of a group like that was a time travel group of some sort, and I was kind of like just trying to find information about the technology for their sweatshirts that like glowed. That's kind of what I did, and then I hopped onto that. As soon as I did that, I felt like that probably wasn't the wisest thing to do. So I I really hope I wasn't misunderstood, but yeah,
What,
that's
what do the sweatshirts have to do with it?
I don't know. That's why I was curious. I just went to like try to find out about the clothing and what that was. I don't know.
Oh, and then you kind of found out about the time travel thing.
Yeah, in a
Gotcha, gotcha.
roundabout way, kind of thing. It felt like I got attacked right after that, is what it felt like. And I was like, I felt misunderstood. I was, like, I'm not a time traveler. Like, I seriously, like, not that I know of. So it's probably information that is like, it would be very confusing, I think. I'm sure there are uses for it in emergency situations. So, I mean, yeah, and then I really and then okay, Ivan Channels, he's very he's very gifted and stuff, but I don't know if it's like safe to do all the channeling and the different all the different galactics are all on different timelines and different spaces. So I don't know how that plays out.
I think we resonate with a timeline, and based on our resonance will be the one we end up on. So if you have like certain like positive thoughts, like that's probably going to be closer to the timeline you're ending up on. But if you have really negative thoughts, that'll be the timeline you're coming on. So it's like when
No, I
you
just don't want spaceships coming and people freaking out that's what I don't want. Like, I don't think that's necessary. People are so gung ho about it. And I'm like, we don't need all that. That's all.
yeah, I guess it depends on the place and the time. I mean, right now it's people are too concerned with their lives. I think if like we were to see a disclosure of any kind, it would be for like small groups of people that were ready. Like I don't really get the feeling that the current timeline is on one where like a big mothership is going to appear over New York City and all of the TV cameras are going to see it and everybody's going to like, drop their phones and be on like I don't think it'd be like that. I think it'd be kind of closer to what we've been experiencing where it's like the people that are experiencing like ET crafts and things like that, they're in smaller groups and they have intent and there's a person who's connected with these groups and they're bringing them in and they're
Okay.
like up frequency and but like I agree like the commonality of Earth isn't quite ready for it yet just because we got to deal with our shit.
Exactly.
There's
We
new
don't know how to even, like, I don't know how people do it and survive and support themselves and pay all these utilities and bills and make a living. And it's like, I haven't figured out the money part. That's what I'm having trouble with.
yeah the money part the bitch.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, yeah, I don't have an answer for that because I'm working on that myself too. So
Yeah, my girlfriend's funny. She's like, I wake up and I
not
say,
about
"You're rich, bitch." And she says, she tells herself that, and I'm like, okay, that sounds like a plan. Wake up and just, know that you're rich, and we are rich in all kind of ways that we don't realize. The money part, it will just happen. That's what I like to think happens.
I figure as long as there's enough, if you're able to like sustain yourself and you're not like seriously struggling, like as long
It
as
has
there's
to
up,
move. The money has to be enough to where people can move it around, and if they're stressing so much about how they're going to pay for things, the whole collective feels that.
basically if like you're not in survival mode. If you're in survival mode,
Right.
then then you know, that's not cool. And like that's poverty. That's like flight or fight. That's goes back to the reptilian mind. Because you're in that reptilian mind when you're just trying to figure out how to put food on the table or what you're going to do for clothes because your last pair of socks just ripped or your car
Can
broke.
I step in for a second, you guys?
Yeah.
I have to say that I've been listening to you all on this, and we're just all where we're at. That's it.
Okay.
And some things are going to work and some things aren't. And who gives a fuck about the rest of it? Honestly. Like, why do we need to
Well,
label
if you
it?
had
Why does it have to
kids,
be?
if you have kids,
Well,
it's like you feel
I
like you have to like the kid thing when you have kids, it's like you
dude,
got to
I was
like
a
provide for
kid
the
that was
kids.
starving,
I
so
know.
I know what you're talking about. But you can change your way it is. You can change at any time. Rebecca is like, get up and go and do it. Leave your Pennsylvania town with kids. Just go and just figure it out. Like, there's so many other options. Like, there's so many places that are looking for people to come and live and help them and create businesses together. Do it.
Well, I'm not going to leave my kids.
No, you
I
don't
just
leave your kids. You take your kids and you teach them how to live off the land and get out of the city. That's
well,
what
I'm
it's
out of
going
the
to be,
city.
and that's just the way it's going to be. Well, I know you're in the country, but you got to do
Hmm.
it with like a community of people, like that actually want to do these things with you. And that's what I've been trying to say to everybody for a while. They're not listening because they don't get it yet.
Well, why don't you
That
come
I
over
started.
here and we play pretend in my little community and we'll see if it works.
It's got to be a lot of people. It can't just be, the kids have to be interactive. It can't just be the adults. The adults have to be interactive. And I'm definitely
Okay.
not, and drugs are not allowed. They're not. And neither is alcohol, because this is a spiritual quest. This is a fucking like making sure that we enhance and give the children the future instead of them handing them our ass,
Right.
our stuff
Right.
that we have not dealt with. It's time for us to grow up, because we're like children. And we're saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not going to leave this, I'm not going to do that. And we need to say, okay, enough with like, people that aren't willing, people who won't listen, people who do not want to participate. And if you are going to keep saying that you're going to live with that, then that's what you're going to have. And until you're ready to step out and say, fuck it, I'm done, I'm going to try something else because this shit ain't working, you have to choose to, kick that shit out of your life.
Right. I was talking to a friend who she was doing good. She was doing really good. She went through some really tough, difficult things, dating boyfriends who were all caught up in drugs. She was caught up in drugs. She gets free and clear of that. She meets somebody else. It starts all over again.
Yeah. And you know what? Enough is
And I
enough.
was
And I'm
like, oh,
tired of
enough
hearing
is
people
enough.
complain about why it's not working for them. It's because you're still picking people around you that are not supreme beings. And you have to choose to be a supreme being as well. And if you're going to hang out with that kind of crowd, that's just what's going to happen.
Well,
You
I've just
can't
known her
expect
for a
anything
long
more
time.
than that.
And,
Like, you have
well,
to
I'm
have higher
talking to her.
expectations,
I'm,
of where your being is. And if you're going
yeah,
to continue to stay in these toxic, like vibrations, because they are, they're
okay,
vibrations that
the
will make
guy's
you sick.
mother. I had a dream where the guy that she was dating, he's coming up to me, but he's in a younger form, and it's like a fairground, and he's like all happy, like running up to her, but I'm seeing through her eyes in this dream, I think, because I don't know him. And here I talked to her, and she had a really hard time and seized and died and had to come back to life. So then, like, I'm on the phone with her, and her mother, the guy's mother, is there, and I was like, how's the mom? And she says the mom is beautiful, she's gorgeous and like lovely. So it's kind of like you can't really just leave people. You have to try to like guide them from up out of there. But if they're keeping to make that same choice over and over again, you kind of have to leave to save yourself.
Exactly. And there's no point, because all it's doing is wasting your time for your own soul ascension. It's not your job to replace other people's journeys. They have to go on their own journey before. This is something that the last time we talked, it was something you were having a hard time accepting, because death is happening all around us in many different forms, in many different ways of like horror and its atrocities. I'm not saying that we should accept them. I'm saying that we need to stand up and say enough is enough and start speaking out and saying no more and unplugging from that. Because every single day that you go to a McDonald's, or every single day that you buy something out of plastic or something that hurts another animal, a fish, a person, a tree, it doesn't fucking matter. It's harming you. Okay? Because we are like 99% tree. Okay? Our DNA is that fucking similar. And we're just going around just like, again, like hyperbolians being babies that think they're intellectual and spiritual, but yet they're not willing to step out of the illusion that they're in and think
What
that
do you
it's
think of
still
Jesus?
real. I think Jesus is a part of the construct. I don't think that he is someone that we should exonerate, because I think he is a part of Baal. It has been proven, like through etymology, that he's connected to Thoth and to all the other gods. You know,
I kind
I'm
of think
above
that
that.
he was real. I think he was real, and he went through that. But they took his
I don't
story
think
and
so.
manipulated it.
I think it was a parable. I think
Oh,
just like all the Bibles and all the
I got a
other
good one.
texts, the
Um,
Torah
What,
and la la la, all that stuff has
Matthew?
been like, you
uh,
know, a part of. Hold on, you guys.
I have something for you.
Okay.
I,
Exactly talking about this. I was listening to it today, and it was talking about a correlation. It was from the same guy that we were listening to
right.
earlier, and he had done the guy, actually not the main guy talking, but the guy that was interviewing him. He had actually written an entire book about how there was this basically a time travel program where they were able to go back and witness the death of Jesus and stuff, and he was going into the details about the complete manipulation of the story of Christ and how it's completely bonkers compared to
That's
what
what
it
I think
actually,
too.
like, it's completely twisted, and it's based off of Roman Roman kings, and basically going through and going into trying to become sovereign through spirituality and creating the story of Christ. And so they completely manipulated it, complete manipulation on so many fronts. And he goes deep into it. And
Well,
so,
this is a part of the reptilian propaganda bullshit. It's these fucking dragons that are fucking stuck here, and they've been ruining our lives for over 6,000 years, at least. I mean, we know this is a part of the Kali Yuga, so they are going to be destroyed. It's the end of them, but we have to invite them to the fucking table and say, "Hey, man, we forgive you. We love you.
Well,
Remember who you
the
are."
real Yeshua, I feel rather protective of, because I
No,
think that there was a real
they're
person.
all gods that are, you know, the gods that are false. The real true God is not electricity. And that's what has been killing us, is electricity.
That's too powerful, because we're a biosuit with synapses. So of course we don't want to be electrocuted.
Well, that's that's the tetrahedron. And so this energy that we actually have is the false God. It's not the true God. And that's what everyone is worshiping. It's crazy. It's like the actual like true is like fusion, right? Where there's the energy is contained and it's free and everybody can have it. It's what Tesla was doing. That's the true God.
I was thinking
It's the
about
Taurus
Tesla the other
energy.
day.
It's not this false tetrahedron bullshit that we're dealing with.
well, that's
That's electricity.
it's going into the life force of the universe. Like it's 0 point energy. And yeah, it is. It's literally in every atom of the universe, whether it's living or dead. It's there. And yeah, I mean that is and is to everybody and everything, and like we have the right to have that within our grasp. I mean, it's like every other advanced civilization out there has that in their pocket. Like you can't even be an advanced planet without having that as your base function of energy, and it's free energy that's available for all. It's what Tesla is working on. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, but yeah, totally. I'm there with you.
I'm washing my Pookie Bear dog. She's like 3 pounds in the sink here looking at me. She's a Pomeranian. I agree with you, Matthew. I was just telling you what I was doing. I agree with you. I
Yeah,
agree with
no,
you too, Nova. I didn't. It's interesting that you said electricity. It like a softening. Electricity would be too
Something that I just
powerful.
recently heard and it completely 100% makes sense. It's actually what's destroying is what's making everybody sick. It's killing them.
All the electricity, the EMF.
Yes, it's the false god. That is what everybody's worshiping. It's Baal, and Jesus Christ is a part of that. He is. We are above that. He tried, you know, whatever that thing was. Okay, cool. We're way above that. We're supreme beings. We have all rights to travel and all rights to be free and not be contained inside of their bullshit. And that's what they are claiming on, with this maritime law. It's all bullshit. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull some canon laws up while we're sitting here.
Might as well. It's a good time for it.
Say that again.
It's a good time for that.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I had a day yesterday and today. My cat had three kittens. One kitten passed away, so I was left with two kittens. And they were doing really good. But then both kittens got sick. They got like a cold, and they passed away. So it was really sad. So me and Kato had to dig two little spots and take these two kittens out. So I had an experience with death. And I have to say, Kato, he was better with it than I was. I was like really bummed out. I really wanted them to make it. But I didn't want them to be sick. So we put a flower with them and put them there. And I think what they got, I looked it up, I think what they got is a feline herpes type of thing is what I think they got. And I think the mother has that, so I have to take the mom and take her somewhere because I don't want the other kitty cats getting it. I have a couple kitty cats. So that's what I was dealing with the past couple of days. Not to change the subject or anything, I'm just washing my little dog, and I was just thinking of my little cats.
Well, the cycle of life and death.
Yeah. So, at least they don't have to be sick for their whole life. I don't want anybody to be sick for their whole life. It's a terrible existence. So, and then on my timeline on Facebook, they have a lot of factory farming posts coming up where the animal is just incarcerated in these metal bars. It shows this mother pig, and she doesn't have anywhere to go. She can't turn around. She can't do anything. And that's her existence. She lives her whole life in this little metal pen, and it's terrible. And if she has babies, it's just awful. So I was signing on to change the practices of factory farming. That's what I was doing right before Nova called me. Because I kind of think that that's important as to how we treat our animals, whether they be for food or not. They still have to have some kind of a life, because all that energy also factors into the collective, is, how we treat our animals. Unless I'm wrong. But I mean, it's, Earth is a big place and the animals are a part of it. So.
Energy and life force, I mean.
Yeah.
And again, it's like what we do to others is a reflection of what we would do to ourselves.
True. Hey, what do you think of the cloning technology to be used to create meats? What do you think of that? I mean, it exists. I was watching videos. I mean, it's a real thing, and it works. And the people were trying it, and it tasted fine. It tasted good. And I was thinking, this could be a solution to where these animals aren't living this terrible life, and a product could be created. I mean, it would probably get better even over time. And so these animals wouldn't be stuck incarcerated in a factory, no light, no grass, no fresh air, nothing. And maybe they could have laboratories and create meat like that, like growing facilities to where. But I was just wondering, what that does to the consciousness, just I was just wondering about it.
Yeah, I'm not too in depth in knowledge of that particular subject, but I mean, I'm aware of it and know about it, but um, hard to tell. I mean, because I think
It's
if you
cutting edge.
because like
It's
if you're
cutting
growing
edge.
it and it's not a living being, it's definitely going to have a different frequency than if it is a living being. And then,
Well, the cells. Well, that's what I mean. Like the cells are live. The cells are living. But as far as like the sadness though from those animals in those factory farms, the sadness and like the serotonin levels, they're not going to be very high. The the dopamine levels, they're not going to be very high in the animals. And then we consume that, and all of a sudden we have a whole society that's depressed, and on antidepressants and having issues. And I go back to like, what are they eating? They're eating these meats, these animals that are sad and stuff. There's some meats that aren't, from cows that have lived a great life, came from farms and stuff. But I don't know.
Hey guys, I'm going to
It's,
redirect this conversation back to our topics and
sorry, Nova.
what our what we are doing here as far as sovereignty goes, because a lot of us already know a lot of this stuff that we have. So what we're doing here is to solve the issue and discuss like the history of what's going on. We're not this reality that you have, that what's going on. Like we need to not even think about that because that's creating the reality. And so right here, I'm going to, if we can, just put all of ourselves on mute so we don't have like any background noise for a moment. I would appreciate that. And yeah, here we go. The canon, I'm going to read out some canons here, which is really interesting. We have this, in accordance, this is Canon 5539. If you can, I actually have it on screen. It's in accordance with these canon. It is forbidden to select leaders and rulers through the claim of royal blood right. Isn't that interesting? So we have in most societies that retain monarchies, possessing royal blood as a claimed right does not in itself bestow an automatic birthright to be sovereign because of successive historic laws that require a suitable candidate to not only possess royal blood, but regarded as legitimate and approved member of the royal family. Isn't that interesting? The word
Yeah.
royal, this is Canon 5536. The word royal originates from the first millennium BCE. Ancient Irish "rael" from "ri" meaning king and "al" meaning a litter, brood, progeny, the young of a bird or an animal. Hence, the true etymology of royal is the progeny of a king. So these kings are the false. That's what we're looking at. In these canons, we're claiming that right here, it says right there, 5539, it's forbidden to select leaders and rulers through the claim of royal blood right. So why are we doing that? These are our sovereign rights. And for some reason, we have, in Canon 55, it says Roman cult in 1455 CE. So this is interesting. Canon 5442, contrary to false history and documents, there's no historic evidence of any civilization considering the legal status of adults, specifically as infants, prior to the claims of the Roman cult in 1555 CE. What do you think that means? And then you have Canon 5543, a political claim built within the franchise system perpetuated by the Roman cult. You see that? Roman cult. Parents, patriae, I don't know if that's how you say it, in its original form treated all men, women, and children as subjects of the sovereign as infants, not simply those who demonstrate a lack of competence or disability or mental illness. What do you think of all this? How does that sound to you? Do we understand what this is saying? Or do we understand it?
Well, I think everybody has their own definition of what royal means to them.
Well, because
Yeah.
it's been lied to them. It's not even the correct terminology. They're being taught by the electricity, right? The tetrahedron.
I don't know what they're
This
being taught by,
royal
but
cult. It's a cult. It says it right here.
okay. I think that
The
there
English
has been a
crown is...
patriarchal, and then it changed to matriarchal. There was a lot going on with Queen Elizabeth, and everybody was giving her praise, and she's lived a long life and stuff. At the same time, I wonder, like, what did she like the I don't even want to talk about it. Like Queen Diana or Princess Diana, she ran away for a reason, but they killed her. So she wanted to be
They've
free
been
from
killing
that.
a lot of people. It's not just her. They don't care for humanity. They're trying to destroy us and control us.
And then Anne Hesh, I love Anne Hesh. She's a sweetheart, and she was doing good and everything. Oh, so she had a girlfriend, and then she had a boyfriend, whatever. But
But that's all
her
fake too.
car,
That's all
her
fake.
car,
It's all fake.
I feel like her car
it's all
was
fake.
like put on like super fast mode. I really don't think that she would have driven like that fast down the road. I don't think that she did that. I think her
Okay,
car
so
was
look at this.
messed with.
Canon 5551. Ooh. There are
Or a
two
malfunction.
forms of the doctrine absolute and antinomiated. Absolute divine right asserts not even the church stands between the monarch and God, as the monarch is themselves divine as a lesser deity, and anointed divine rights asserts that only the Roman cult pope and the church as a force and entity stand between the monarch and God.
Come here,
Really?
That's like a lot of hearsay just for getting people to take power and establish religion.
You have to. Your eyes are all red, Kato.
Divine rights asserts not even the church stands between the monarch and God.
Here, you do it. Your eyes are pink.
So who would be considered the monarch? The Roman cult pope?
Yes, the Roman cult. That would be correct.
So there's a freeing from Catholicism. Is there? I was wondering there being a reason for the filters or the people in front of people in their religion. Because I was wondering, why was that so? Maybe they thought that people couldn't handle it. So there's this big movement away from the church because they felt like the church was like so filtered and again too guarded, and they weren't getting the real bread, the real meat of the word and the spirit. And yes, the Bible has some things in it that I just do not agree with and stuff, but it also has a lot of things that I do agree with.
Well, the thing with the Bible is that they take a lot of truths and then they kind of twist them.
A little bit.
That there is truth in the Bible, but at the same time, then there's also not truth. And then that's where people get slipped up a little bit.
I think there needs to be better relationship advice in the Bible.
Yeah, that would be true. Treating people with equality would also be a nice one, right?
Right, yeah, because it's very patriarchal, and the woman is considered property.
Listen to this. Canon 5555. As the monarchs of England possess no holy blood, sacred blood, nor divine right other than by argument, trickery, and theft, the official motto of De et Mont Dieu is both unlawful and a profession of deliberate and willing heresy before all heaven and earth, by all those who hold high office under such seal and arms. They possess no holy blood, sacred blood, nor divine right.
Well, I kind
Do
of
you
think
hear
of
that?
it as like we all are given responsibility to protect your own Holy Spirit, however you want to define holy.
Here we go.
But
Canon 5556 or 5556. As the official motto de et mon Dieu, and the concept of the divine right of kings is a fraud. It has no effect nor force of law and therefore is null and void ab initiato. Damn! Straight up.
So this is Canon 555?
5556. In accordance to these canons, it is forbidden to select leaders and rulers through the claim of divine right of kings. Damn. See, these are our actual sovereign rights right here. And
Yeah.
all we have to say is, yeah, if you're I know the canon 5557 says it's forbidden to select leaders and rulers to the claim of divine rights and kings. Straight up. We could get people out of office because this is common law. And this is the true law.
Yeah.
This is the real God.
The real thing is like, how do we present that to common folks and have them actually take it to heart?
Well, I mean, first you got to get their attention, and that's what we've been doing. And maybe that's why we're just having this small little conversation right now. We know because they're not quite ready for it yet. We need to plan. We need to start really talking about the real things, not all the bullshit. Again, going back to Rebecca, I apologize, sister. I'm not picking on you, but let's not talk about what's happening in the world anymore, you guys. Like, let's talk about the solutions of really looking at the history of what's happened. Yes, we know that there's so much craziness in the world.
I don't think anybody knows what happened.
They know. Believe me, you need to get on Telegram because they know. There's a lot of people on Telegram who are very aware of what's happening on the planet right now. But we need to stop bitching about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm not mad at you or anything like that. I'm just literally just like, we need to stop talking about it because that's creating it still. What we need to do is know what we're talking about. And how we get the fuck out of this. Because if you want to be spiritually trapped on here, that's a choice. But we need to understand common law if we are going to be free spiritually, if not materially. Because this is how we get out of the loop. So are you wanting to
raise the physical matrix to a higher degree?
Yes, that's what we're here to do. We're not here to sit around going, oh, poor me. I'm not saying you're doing this. I'm just talking in general, right? Like, we all need to get out of our infancy of being hurt and move forward to our true divine supreme beings we are. That's what we are. We're supreme. We're not kings. We're not queens. We're not monarchs.
I'm not hurt. I just want there to be a pathway. I'm not hurt. I just want there to be a pathway.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking as a general to the general public. Everybody's like, can you? Yeah. It's really just hear what I'm saying. Don't take it personally. Okay, this is not about you.
I only have my
perception. This is us as a global scale, as a mindset. Okay, that we are creating this world every time we talk about the atrocities and the bad things and the blah blah. I mean, there's a list of it. We can go on and on and on and on and on. But the true reality is that we're being manipulated, and we need to claim of right. We have to claim it. Enough like saying this is happening, I'm a victim, and this is happening, this is too bad in the world.
And please just
let me finish. I'm not talking about you. Girl,
I know. I was
you're
just
taking it way too personal. Just listen.
no. I'm not. I was just.
I don't, I'm not, you don't need to defend yourself. You don't have
I
to
wasn't.
respond to me. I'm just listen to what I'm saying. Okay? This is just straight up for everyone. Like, we all need to take responsibility right now. We all are fucking up. All of us. None of us are removed right now. Because we don't know how to even speak the real language of God. And
The real language of God
I'm not making this shit up.
is talking to a kid.
This is why I'm reading the canon 55s and the canon rights. These are our claim to right to the true God. And this is something that all of us need to do. And fuck that, all the other shit. Fuck it. It doesn't exist. If you keep putting it in your mind that it's there, it's going to exist because that's what happens. It's proven, the relativity theory. Every thought you put into the world is created because it comes into your heart. And if your heart believes in it, then it's truth. So gosh darn it, we need to be about solutions already. Enough with the shit. I'm not mad. I'm just being very direct. Like, we need to wake the fuck up and take responsibility for what's happening. Because we've been doing this over and over and over and over and over again. And we need to grow up. As children, we've been so hurt. We keep on repeating it. It's not. We're in a cog. In a wheel, we're just cogs in a wheel. And until we break out of that, it's just going to keep repeating itself. Because we don't even know what we're talking about. We feel things, we know that we're stuck in something. Yes. Okay? But it comes down to being responsible. Are you going to continue to go back and do the same thing over and over again? Cool. Go for it. Then this place isn't where you need to be. But, I'm asking you to step into that. Can you do that? If not, that's cool too. I'm not condemning anybody, right? But this is what it's going to take, is for us to take responsibility and claim our sovereignty. Meaning that we are free beings. We can walk this earth and do whatever the fuck we want, as long as we're not hurting anyone and we're loving everyone. And we have to forgive them. And that's the only thing that's going to save our asses. You have to forgive all of those things. All of it. I don't care what they've done. It's just you. It's a reflection of yourself, and you need to forgive yourself. Everyone needs to repent within themselves and say, I'm sorry. And that's why it's so upsetting, because we've all been guilty. We've all been there. But it's time to take responsibility. Because if you're not going to be a part of the solution, get the fuck out of my way. Because I'm here to help people if they want to learn, if they want to step out and get out of their situation, they'll do it. If they want something else. Enough reasons or excuses. Do it, or be good with where you are. Be in that place and accept it and love it. And stop blaming everyone else for how shitty it is or how it makes you feel. And I'm again not generalizing to anybody. This is just everybody at this point. We've all been so hurt, and it's a cycle. And we haven't gotten the fuck out of it for trillions of years. It continues. Every single Kali Yuga, we come back to this. And we have to accept that this is evolution. Okay? So, we're fucking Generation X and fucking this millennial generation that's gonna kick ass. But we have to band together already. Or not. And then let your families die off. Because that's what's going to fucking happen. The world is changing, and we have to fucking put on our big panties on right now and say, okay, I got my shit. I'm going to fucking do this. Otherwise, you're going to die. That's just the way the world is. It's not, this is a survival thing now. Whether or not it matters, because, you know, if you leave and that lineage dies off, well, then it wasn't meant to be here in the first place. It needs to go, because the frickin' Satya Yuga is not going to accept anything lesser than. So if you need to, you do whatever it takes to teach the children in this world today exactly where they need to be. And it's not sitting at home with a fucking drug addict. Or another person over here fucking raping their child. Or another person over here fucking selling a child. Whatever the fuck you want to say it is. I'm sorry, I'm on my fucking, like, pedestal right now because this is the truth. And I speak truth.
I already pictured a soapbox, and and you were on it, and I was saying, okay, let it rip. And I sat there, and I was cross-stitching. I was like, preach. That's what I pictured.
Yes, because it needs to be said. Because we're all so like, oh, but. No, fuck that. Okay, if you're going to be that, cool. Accept who you are and love that part of yourself. And be cool with where you are. But don't ever fucking bitch to me about it ever again. And I'm meaning that to anyone that ever talks to me. Because you know what? We are fucking warriors. We're badass bitches. And this is my pep talk to y'all. I'm kind of like a sergeant over here. Because I love you. And I know that we're all fucking capable of this shit. But it doesn't matter where you are. I'm cool with that. I love where everybody is. But don't fucking ever bitch to me about why this world is shitty when you're not fucking participating in the way you're ready, because you're not ready yet. And that's okay. Just get over it and move on, you know? Because this world is just an illusion. It's not even the real shit. Okay? So it's whatever the fuck you want to make of it. Whatever you want to make of it. It all comes from the mind. And it goes into your heart and it is created. That's it. And then once you die, you fucking finally get to release. And if you were able to figure out that you were not a fucking slave, but you're a sovereign being, you could be free to go wherever the fuck you want and help others get to that point by sending them little orbs and shit, and, you know, hugging them and from afar, like sending energy to them, you know, like a planet or something, even beyond the planets, because the planets are all this construct shit, you know. Get out of the cog, or get out of the wheel. Enough of being a cog. And I digress. Thank you.
Thank you, Nova.
Keep speaking if you wish, but oh my goodness, I mean, yeah, there's really just such a deep history with all of us, not just us here in talking, but also all of humanity, all the incarnates in the world at this point, anybody who's on this earth. And there's so much, but we always do have that choice, and I think that's something that we've forgotten. And that's a part of the deep, deep, deep trauma that has been a part of humanity and even beyond for so long. And it's kept us in this cog state. But there are other states. And, like, you know, if you want to get the fuck out of here and get out of the experience of being a being and go, you know, be the all and the everything and go on, like, that can be your thing. But there's also experiences of physicality. There's experiences as being a body of some kind or entity or a being of some kind that aren't shit. Like, there are other existences out there, and we have a choice to go towards that as humanity now, because this is like not a breaking point, but like this is a point in humanity where there's a juncture in time, there's a juncture in space, there's a juncture in what we can do. And yeah, if we sit around on our asses and don't do anything, don't have a goal, don't have something to reach forward to, something we're passionate about, yeah, we'll get dragged along with the currents, and the currents can be going anywhere. But if you're driven, if you have that passion inside of you, and if you know where you're going, and even if you don't know where you're going, you at least can follow your heart to like its full extent, you will end up where you need to be.
That's what I was
I don't
talking about. The
like.
serotonin and the dopamine levels are really not where they're supposed to be. I hear you. I hear you. Like I've gone through like real severe depression, and there was attachments, so I had to learn energetic work, and then I had to learn food, and I had to learn so much. So the whole medical community, I think, is catching on to it. It's taking a while, but they are like, and then if these people, they get these titles, these lists on them, and they get into these medical systems in the computers, there has to be some type of program to where they get lifted off. So they're not, and their whole lineage is all, contracted to what information somebody decided to label and put on them. If we were going to talk about lineages, I was just thinking that this could be healed. So I'm into restorative medicine. I'm into healing. So that's what I was working for. But I'm in a spot where, from being depressed and, having that stuff on a computer, I'd have to like get that lifted off in order for me to contribute the way that I want to. Because as soon as somebody sees and hears that title, they have an automatic stigma for it. So I was just trying to, go about doing what I was doing to prove that it can be healed. I think the
That's
whole
what we're
spiritual community is proving that.
that's a huge reason why we're here, is to do that healing. I mean, some of us are directly related to the healing that needs to be done, and some of us aren't, but like the healing needs to happen, and that healing is going to not only set humanity free, but it's going to set a lot of souls free, including the ones that aren't even on the human realm, the ones that have been trapped on Earth as a spirit, or the entities that are feeding off of fear. Like the healing is much, 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 much deeper than just the humanity. Like humanity is like literally like the cover of the news versus all the events going on. It's like humans are
Right.
just like one small cog in the wheel. But once we achieve that healing, there's going to be so much more opportunity for souls that have been stuck here, for souls that came here and wanted to make a mission, and create the ability to be free. That'll be a success for them. I mean, there's going to be so much
Now
that
that's
comes out.
awesome.
But it's fucking hard work, and it's like, we're not out of the woods, we're still in the fucking woods, and so we have to remain headstrong. That's for sure, and not give up.
Mm-hmm.
Not at this point, at least. Not ever, really. I mean, you don't really get a chance to ever really do that. I mean, if you give up, you just end up back in the same spot again. So.
Mm-hmm. Right before Nova called me to go on this talk, which I appreciate that. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much. I wrote to Marge Iverson, who was talking to her therapist, just because she gets mad, like frustrated, because this world is frustrating. And what we were talking about is planting trees. And she was saying, I planted these trees with my grandfather. And the girl was like bewildered because she was younger, and like, she was frustrated because she was frustrated with how the world is. And it was funny because the girl like was dealing with that her job. It was to, talk about, what's going on, and, try to make solutions. And we were laughing because like she probably didn't realize that, and came home and talked to her cat and being like, okay, well, we got to go plant trees, and threw her keys down. We got to go plant trees. And the moringa tree. Have you heard of the moringa tree? The moringa plant?
Sounds familiar.
It's an amazing, amazing tree. And I planted 2 of them, and they grew fantastic up here. I don't know where are you at?
I'm in Colorado.
Okay, well, I think it'll grow there. And this tree, it grows. It says it's invasive, but I don't consider it invasive. And it grows rather well. I think you might have to take it in for the wintertime. But get some moringa seeds and see if you could sprout some moringa plant. Because this plant, you can eat it, you can put it in salads, you can make tea from it, and it heals and cures like over 300 incurable things and stuff. And I get this notion that you're a healer and you would be into this. Like I know Nova is, and she's into herbal plants and healing. She's an amazing cook. The list of foods that Nova says and tells me that she's made and is just off the charts. Like, you are an amazing chef, Nova. I wish you'd open up a restaurant. I would be like sitting right down and be like, "Hey, what's on for today?" But yeah, this get some moringa.
About my next fast that should be coming up here very soon. I do a podcast every day, every time, and I record it, and I show people what I'm doing. Like, and I'll do the same thing
cooking
again.
something.
Yeah.
I love your list of foods on your menu, and you're like, I mean, that was amazing. That would be
It was
really
like
good.
what, 78 items, I think.
Yes, you were going on and on. I was like, holy mackerel.
Did I miss this one? Wait, so you were doing a podcast on the different foods you were cooking?
No, but I'm going to do it though. Might as well. I'll do like a little video, like of a cooking show while I'm
like cooking with herbs and plants. That would be
like whatever I do. Yeah, like showing how to do a tincture, whatever, or how to make an essence.
That would be fun. Oh, I like that idea a whole lot.
Yeah.
Love it.
But I'm going to be fasting here pretty soon, like probably after my sun gazing deal. I'm like probably what?
Matthew, I have, as I'm talking here, and Nova, I have a package of moringa seeds. That's what brought to mind. And I was just saying something about let's plant moringa trees, and then you called, and then these seeds are here. I have a package of seeds. I could send you guys a couple of seeds. Would you like that? I'll just mail them to you.
Would love some seeds so I can plant them. I'm creating a forest garden, so that would be lovely.
Okay. Well, let me get a pen and write your addresses down, and I'll mail them to you. I think I have yours, but let me just write them down again.
I'll do that. We'll send them to you because we're recording right now.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Smart thinking.
Okay.
But yeah,
so I'm just going to doodle hearts on my paper. That's what I did.
Hey, spread the love, right?
Yes. I send you some hearts.
Well, that's pretty sweet. I think this has been a pretty sweet conversation. I think we're getting like deep into unveiling the layers of ourselves, and also just like deep historical parts of not only our personal lives but our lineages, and just like kind of side topics too. Like it's been great. And it was just the 3 of us. I think a couple of people popped in for like just a minute, but like, this is like, it feels full-fledged to me.
I think there is a physical lineage of your physical body, and I like to think that your spirit has like grown that, right? Is that how it goes?
I think so. I mean, that makes sense. I was kind of thinking like our spirit, we like have a spirit lineage, and then like maybe it was like a bigger one and then it split up into smaller ones and then kind of goes back and forth between being individual and then being whole again.
Yeah, kind of like that. Like you have part of your soul here, but you're part of a bigger construct.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's kind of like what I was thinking too. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm not the only one thinking that. Okay. I feel better. Well, yeah,
It's
this
like,
is fun. Go ahead.
likewise, it has been good. Well, I'm feeling pretty good for the evening. How about you guys? How you guys feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like drawing doing some artwork.
Do some artwork.
Yeah, so I'm gonna sit here and do some doodling and drawing here. It was really nice hanging out with you guys. I am terrible at getting off the phone. I will tell you that now. I don't know how to do it. I kind of list off and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I'll be there. I'm terrible. So I have to work on that. But I really enjoyed this conversation very much. Thank you. Thank you, Nova. Thank you, Matthew. And yeah, message me your address and I'll send you these moringa seeds. Okay.
That would be sweet. I would love to get some and give them a little plant and see how they do.
Yeah, yeah. They taste good. You could put them in salads. You can make tea and stuff. And the one time I tried it, like my body felt good. It was a good thing.
How many would you say would be like a good like dose of seeds? Like
Well, it's the
like
plant. I didn't. You can eat the seeds, but I would grow I would grow the tree and eat the leaves. Is what I would do. But you
okay.
could eat the seeds too. But I would think. Well, you can look into it and just tell me what you think.
Sweet.
You can do either. Okay. And yeah, Nova, I really want you to make those videos, those cooking videos. I'd be so cheering you on.
Yeah,
As far as
gas on cooking, I have to say.
yeah, she's amazing. And as for the making music thing, I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna see about if I can maybe get a setup and try my best. I don't know if I want to spend 40 grand, but I mean, there's all these programs, so maybe I just take advantage of the programs.
Yeah, it's all about how you want to learn. I mean, you can do it with a program. You can spend $400 or $40,000 or $400,000. It's totally up to you, but the creativity will come through no matter what you choose.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm gonna check into that. But I'm gonna get off of here. My kid is still up. I am going to try to get him to go to sleep. We've been touched by the moon goddess, and she seems to be like, did you? Okay, go lay down. See, yeah. I gotta get this kid to sleep. All right, guys. It was really nice talking and hanging out with you.
Night.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Love you. Okay.
Love you.
Okay, love you too. Okay.
All right.
Well,
How are
I
you
think
feeling?
that might be a good wrap. I'm pretty
Yep.
ready for the end of the evening for an hour and hitting the sack on this end.